So WWE, they're insane right now. Road to WrestleMania in full gear. I was able to watch John Cena's promo from earlier today. So they were in Europe, huge house. John Cena was over like a motherfucker. Can be one of the top heels in the business. He came out and I thought he nailed his promo out of the park. I thought he did a great job. So I think WrestleMania is. I think they're probably gonna have to like knock down like stadium walls to fit more people in there. That's how big this thing's gonna be.
Probably. I mean, WWE is super hot right now. I don't wish I care. I don't know. It's kind of like it's a good thing that The Rock came along and disrupted all the plans, because the critique going in was that it was kind of flat and the rest of the show is kind of flat. It's really good that they were able to talk Cena into this heel turn, because it wasn't like this was a well-built long-term story. This is The Rock just coming in and throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And fortunately, you've got generational performer like John Cena who's willing to shake it up a little bit, right? Because I mean, what else do you have that's hot going into this?
Well, I mean, Jey Uso's still pretty hot. I mean,
as a story.
Like,
no, it's whoa. I keep hearing that WWE is the company that does these stories great. What's another one? Because you can't tell me Cena and Cody Rhodes is this well-booked, intricate story with all these plays. We know that's bullshit. Rock came in and said,
"Hey, but JD, hold on, but JD, we're like 2 weeks into the story between those two.
I agree, because
by the time we get to WrestleMania, they will have it
for sure. And but that's not planned. But it wasn't planned.
It's planned now. They're planning it out right now. By the time we get to WrestleMania, they will be there. The story will be told once we get there. I understand. I understand what you're saying.
I'm tired of people worshiping at the altar of Paul Levesque as this great booker, when this had nothing to do with him. This was thrown in his lap from The Rock, and it's the hottest thing the company has right now. Like, it's worked out fantastic because you have generational performers doing generational work, which is great, which is what they can lean into. It's their strength. But I don't want to hear how amazing a booker Paul Levesque is when he had nothing to do with what's going to drive the show. That's reality. In the undercard, Jey Uso's super hot. Great. What's he doing?
He's challenging for the World Heavyweight title against Gunther, which has been a year-long story. That story is good too. That story is going to work.
I'll give this. Jey Uso match is going to get over because all they do is trot out stuff that gets over. Like, their entrances are over. People are going to sit on their hands for the actual wrestling match because WWE fans don't really care about wrestling.
I disagree. I watched that match that they had on Saturday Night's Main Event from a couple months ago. It was a good match, and the fans were into it. Gunther's an amazing wrestler. Jey Uso's not fantastic. Jey Uso's not a good wrestler. Okay,
let's not pretend Jey Uso's a good wrestler.
But he's over, right? And
he's over.
He's over, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to take a beating, and then he's going to hit some super kicks, and then he's going to get the pin, right? And the match, like, it's going to be a basic match, and it's going to fucking get over, right?
It'll get over.
It's going to do great for them. They did have something with Rhea and Bianca, but they've interjected Io into it, and they made it a three-way. I'm not a big fan of three-way. I don't like three-way matches for titles. I can't stand that. CM Punk and Roman Reigns would be the story that they're going with, but now they got that a three-way with Seth Rollins. Seth and CM Punk was a great story. I thought their cage match last week was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the Fletcher and Ospreay one, which you're not going to get that because it's not what they do. It was just a vehicle to get to the three-way. I'm not a fan of the three-ways, right? But there is something there, and they got something cooking with Paul Heyman. We'll see what happens there. I get the feeling that CM Punk is turning heel and Paul Heyman is going to be his manager, and then they're going to springboard into download. But I don't know what that's going to be. So they got all these things kind of cooking in the background, and it's pretty going to go. And I'm having trouble deciphering it. And plus, I don't watch SmackDown. I just ain't got time. I mean, I can't do SmackDown and Raw, but I've been watching Raw, so I'm like kind of seeing where they're going with some of this stuff, and it is pretty interesting. But the three-way stuff is killing me. I can't do three ways on these big pay-per-views. I think it's a waste.
Three-way is such half-ass booking, right? Because you're not actually telling the story. Like, there's a reason why there's no, like, find me a book or a movie or any television show where you have a protagonist, an antagonist, and a center antagonist.
Yeah,
right. It doesn't exist. But pro wrestling gets to do that because then they get away with, like, conclusive endings. and they can do half-ass bullshit. We saw in AEW too, where they interjected Christian in that thing. That was fucking terrible. Like, it's become such a crutch since then. It's one of these things that became popular in the 90s. It needs to go away. Like, these 3-way and 4-way and like 27-way matches, they're all fucking dumb, and they're all to get away from like conclusive endings. I don't even want to say doing jobs because that's a corny ass term, but I mean, it's to get away from doing conclusive endings.
Yeah.
And to drag shit out. And it's lame, quite frankly. And we've seen, you just pull a hammy? You made a face.
Yes.
Old age fucking sucks.
Dude, bro, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm not in it.
Sitting around, like, when we were kids and we were doing dream matches, I never thought to just put a bunch of people all in one match. Like, oh, what my dream match would be like all of these guys fighting each other at once. Like, I don't get it. It reeks of they don't want to, like, so with Seth, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, I get the feeling they just really like Seth and they don't want to leave him out, because the two stars are Punk and Roman. And people say whatever the fuck they want about Punk, but he came into the company. He was the top star in the other company. He's not the top star here, but he's like top 5. Mm-hmm. He's like right up there within that top 5. And it should just be Roman and Punk. They don't want to hurt Seth's feelings. So like, okay, we're going to give you a match too. We'll put you in it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always found Seth Rollins to be a tad overrated. Like, he's good. I can't tell you he's not good, but yeah, I've always been like, yeah, but with Seth, I mean, like, he's fine, but I mean, like, I do think there's like far more intrigue and like deep history in a Roman Reigns CM Punk match, right?
Right.
And they do this. This is like, remember with when they had Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, and they had to put Charlotte Flair in, and then David's like, well, you had to put Charlotte in. Why?
You didn't.
Yeah, like, why? There's no reason to do that. Like they just do stuff.
They have 2 nights. Let Seth wrestle somebody else. Right? Yeah, they have 2 nights. Let him wrestle somebody else. Like Drew is wrestling Damian Priest. I like Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest, right? Mm-hmm. Let put him in that match, right? Like, nobody cares about that match. Just put him in that match, right?
Or do something.
Like, you don't have to, like,
you got a million. They got a million people on their roster. You tell me you can't build a story with Seth Rollins and somebody? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, they closed the door on the CM Punk Seth Rollins thing with the cage match. That should have been what ended. Oh yeah, that's right. Cage matches don't end shit in that company. They're just a thing to do.
Yeah, it was just the way. So it ended up being where, like, Roman came out and eliminated Seth Rollins because they do escape the cage, which is stupid. Pulled Rollins out, and then that's how Rollins was able to get the victory over Punk, because Punkamania ain't doing no jobs, brother. so that's how they did it. And then I just want to see Roman and Punk. I just think that would be a good match. And I'm the only one on this network that thinks Roman Reigns is a good wrestler. I get it.
Oh, I like Roman.
Yeah,
I think Roman's way underrated. King of the North things, kid. Stand on business. JD fed bad. Agreed. Like, it's perfectly fine if you like to apologize for rapists. Then go ahead and love the Fed.
Yeah. Fed is bad. I just happen to think the show is pretty good right now. And I'm like looking forward to WrestleMania.